Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stillness of Heart podcast. I'm your host, Zara Martirosyan, a holistic therapist. And today I want to talk to you about maybe somewhat a controversial topic, which is evil eye. Now, I need to confess, I happen to believe that evil eye does exist. And there are some people, both close people, your friends, family, co-workers, and acquaintances that may consciously or very often subconsciously emanate certain negative vibrations, negative energy towards you. But I also believe in everything in moderation, that there is a very thin line between believing in evil eye, being aware of it, and learning how to protect yourself, knowing how to discern what people are really there in your life to support you, to guide you, to be happy for you, to be true friends, and those that it's better to stay away from because their intentions, again, not necessarily consciously, very often subconsciously, may not be exactly the good ones. And so the thin line between that state and becoming overly paranoid and eventually falling into a trap of self-fulfilling prophecy, when people are scared to share their news because they think that their friends will jinx them, and, for example, their flight will get canceled if they tell them, their friends, about their upcoming trip or upcoming promotion or whatever that may be. Or sometimes, you meet these people who are women who are visibly pregnant, but they will deny it. Not that you should inquire, in my opinion. If someone wants to share the news with you, they will. If they don't want to share with you, I tend to believe that we shouldn't pry and ask questions, just like we shouldn't shove unsolicited pieces of advice down people's throats, right? It's always amusing to me when people with private Instagram accounts with a very curated list of followers would share the pictures of their kids and put little emojis on their faces. Because for me, it's a signal of a huge distrust. Because, okay, guys, so I'm going to share the pictures of my kids, but because I don't think that all of you, or maybe some of you, have good intentions and are not going to jinx my child, I'm going to put this emoji. Now, I completely respect anyone's decision to keep their personal life private and not to share the photos of their kids. As a matter of fact, I salute that decision, especially in this day and age. But if you decide to share the photo of your child, putting an emoji, for me, is like attracting that negative energy even more. I'm going to share a personal anecdote because I grew up in a family with overly optimistic and incredibly kind dad. And because my father is always there, he's always supportive, he's always happy for his friends, family, coworkers, whenever they share their good news, whether it's a new achievement, career achievement, whether they bought a new house or a new car or went somewhere, whatever that may be, or had a new grandchild. He's always there. He's always very happy, genuinely happy for those that he loves, and even, random acquaintances. So, of course, because he's like that, he believes that when he shares his good news with others, even with close people or not as very close people, they would genuinely be happy and cheer him on as well. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. And my mom, on the other hand, she has always been very conscious, and when it comes to sharing, she would always say, don't show off, don't tell people what your plans are until you have achieved that, until you have it materialized. If you're going on a date, don't announce you're going on a date with this amazing man or woman, whoever that may be, to the entire world. Just share the news when there is something to share. If someone gets pregnant, of course, the superstition is that don't share the news until the first trimester and etc. Which again makes sense from the biological point of view, especially given how many women nowadays go through miscarriages on the early stages. And it's a painful topic and very sensitive topic to discuss with someone. And I remember how my Nana, my maternal grandmother, would always sage her place whenever someone with not necessarily a very benevolent energy would pay her a visit. Back in the day, 20, 50 years ago, people will just show up unannounced. Well, certainly it was the case in Armenia. Now we are more protective over our boundaries, maybe because the life is different. The pace we live at is much faster than our grandparents. And also we are all stuck in this illusion that because we are connected on social media and we chat over WhatsApp or other messengers, we're still connected. We maintain the relationships where, as a matter of fact, everyone is just left to their devices, literally and figuratively, right? So there is a lot of loneliness. But also in the meantime, what I have noticed with myself, that the older I get, the more selective I become about people that come to my place, because my place is my sanctuary, right? It's literally my boundaries, my physical boundaries, my energetic boundaries. And for example, if a couple of years ago when I just started doing this work, I would have lots of clients coming over to my place. And at some point I realized that I don't want to work at home anymore and have clients come into my place, because I needed to protect my place, a sanctuary, from any kind of energy. Because it's my cocoon, it's my little shell, and I want it to be in a certain way. So back to the evil eye. It's just much easier for us humans to be focusing on negative stuff. That is precisely why news with some tragedies, or even when someone shares a passing of a family members, for example, on Facebook, this kind of posts get more traction, more comments, more support, more messages from people than whenever we share something happy, some good news. At best, whenever you share something good, you'll get a like, very rarely a comment. Why? Because this is how we are built. There is a psychological term called negativity bias. So we are more prone to support someone in need. And let's face it, it's much easier to be empathetic towards a so-called victim. That's why this paradigm of victim and victimizer, oppressor and oppressed, is so easily implemented around the world, irrespective of context, because people can empathize and can relate more to those in a drastic circumstances, to victims, to oppressed. And very rarely you will see someone being cheerful or supportive or show empathy towards someone successful or rich. I remember a couple of years ago, I believe it was summer 2023, there was a bunch of wealthy people. Either it was an expedition or they just went for a deep dive in the ocean, and that vehicle, that submarine or whatever it was called, it got lost and they drowned. And I remember the vile, truly, in my opinion, disgusting comments on social media under those posts, like, oh, rich people problems, oh, no one cares, who cares about this wealthy people, they don't care about anyone else, and things like that. So partially that happens again because it's easier for us to focus on negative stuff. But partially it is also a manifestation of victim mentality, of poverty mentality. I'll talk about it more in detail in one of the future episodes. The victimhood as really one of the most dangerous diseases of humans, in my opinion. So yes, it is much easier for us to empathize whenever something bad happens. That's why that saying that a friend in need is a friend indeed is actually incorrect saying, because it's much easier to be a good friend when someone is going through trouble, unless it's, an endless chain of events and people never learn, and there is always something bad happening in their life. Then at some point you may feel exhausted, and that fatigue is real, right? But overall, it's easy to, quote unquote, to send your thoughts and prayers, or to help somehow, or to send flowers, etc. It is much harder to stay a good friend when someone is going through a joyful event in their life, especially when whatever they are getting and whatever their happiness is about something you really want and you lack. For example, if you are single and you see yet another person getting married on Instagram, you may feel resentful. You may feel that you can't really genuinely be happy for them because that's something that you covet that much and it doesn't materialize in your life. Poor you. Why is it not happening in your life? Or maybe you're going through a painful years of trying to conceive, and a pregnancy announcement or a child being born announcement on social media may not really be something you are truly happy about, because it's painful for you. It's a sensitive subject. And I'll be honest with you, I keep asking myself very often, how would I act in certain cases if there was something I really wanted, really felt as if I lack it, and someone would keep getting it? Would I be envious? Would I be jealous of those people, or would I still be happy for them? Because in Russian, we say, some people in Russian culture, they say, oh, I'm so jealous, or oh, I'm so envious of you. But it's a white envy. It's not this dark, heavy, negative envy that I wish I had it and you didn't have it. And why am I so poor that I don't have it and you do? Why am I so unlucky? No, the white envy is that, oh, okay, so you're in Paris enjoying your croissant. Well, I wish I was there too, but I'm happy for you. But I wish I was there too. So this is what they call white envy, and I've always resented that term because I don't believe there are colors to envy. There are colors to jealousy. You're either envious and or jealous, or you're not. And mind you guys, the purpose of this podcast is not for me to teach you how to live your lives or to preach you, because God knows I'm far from being perfect. But I want you to be aware. I want you to pay attention. Whenever a friend is sharing the news or has achieved something, whether it's a promotion at work, money-wise, or personal life, how do you truly feel? Are you genuinely happy for them, or do you catch yourself feeling that yes, I'm happy, but deep down, I wouldn't mind if they didn't get that promotion or weren't that successful or didn't end up opening that business or getting married or whatever that may be. And again, it's much easier to be virtuous and not envious when you have everything, or even when you don't have everything, but you are fine, you are at peace of not having something. But there are also people that no matter how many things they have, no matter how much money they have, unless they have more than anyone else around them, they are not at peace. So even if a person like that has a couple of cars and beautiful houses and everything is fantastic and they keep traveling around the world, if they see others being just as successful, enjoying their life as much, they will not be happy because now they are not on the throne. They don't have this exclusivity. So of course, if you have someone in your entourage, you need to stay away from them. So back to the original topic, because I feel I've digressed. Yes, there is evil eye, and you need to be mindful. You need to really check and see how you feel, how your body feels when you spend time with certain people. You need to be quiet about your success. Now, when I say quiet about your success, just don't share whatever plans you have until you materialize it. Because I know it's my firsthand experience. I know that whenever I get excited, and I guess I take after my dad in that matter, I want to share the news with the world because, I'm excited, and subconsciously I believe that other people that love me and appreciate me, they would be excited for me too. But very often what happens is the negative energy is too heavy, and no matter how much positive thinking you practice yourself and how much you protect yourself, sometimes you can feel those psychic attacks on you. But the most dangerous type of evil eye, the one that rarely people talk about, is the one directed at yourself. Because when we are in the negative mindset, when we constantly feel as a victim, when we feel as if we don't have luck, as if the circumstances always play not in our favor, people want to let us down, people want to betray us, everything is unfortunate and negative in our life. When we genuinely believe in that, this becomes a very dangerous self-fulfilling prophecy, and it really materializes. Because again, just like I believe that there is no such thing as white envy, white jealousy, there is just one type of envy. You're either envious or you're happy for someone. And if you are happy but have a certain weird feeling, then you should channel that weird feeling into creation, into inspiration, instead of thinking that, oh, my life would have been so much better if that person didn't have whatever they're having too. Think about how you can go on that beautiful trip and enjoy that croissant so you can experience that as well. Take that information, be happy for them, and channel that energy, maybe a little bit of negative energy, into creation, into translated into your own achievements. So just like I don't believe in white envy, because a thought is a thought, a word is a word. So every time you say, oh, I'm so envious of you, I'm so jealous of you, I wish I was there as well, but I'm happy for you, you said it out loud. So it's out there that you are jealous. And the jealousy and envy, it's a low vibrational feelings. So the low vibrations, the negative energy is out there in the system, in the universe. So when you constantly are in a negative mindset and you think that nothing works out for you, there is no luck, you are simmering in that negative energy, and you are signaling to the universe that this is your reality and you cannot have any other reality. So it's basically going down the rabbit hole. It's like at some point the gap will be too big. It's like with bank account. If the gap between your debit and credit is getting wider and wider, at some point, no matter how much positivity you practice, no matter how much you want to get out of that situation, it's like a vicious circle you can't get out of. So jinxing yourself, putting an evil eye on yourself is the worst thing you can do for yourself. There is not a single person, no matter how malevolent they are in this world, who can harm you more than you yourself when it comes to negative energy you surround yourself with. And those of you that have been following me for a while and all my clients know very well how much I love the 100 wishes gratitude technique for a few reasons. First of all, step number one in that technique is that you need to write down 100 wishes. And very often, we don't even know what we want. Yet we go around being jealous and envious of people that know what they want and get it. And then we're like, oh, okay, but I want that bag as well. Okay, why didn't you think about it and, work on getting that bag, for example? So very often we don't know what we want, and writing down 100 wishes in one go is a challenge, a task of itself. Sometimes it takes days because yes, okay, we can write down maybe around 20, 30 easily, but then we start stumbling. And the other reason why I love that technique so much is because it's not only focused about being grateful for whatever happened on that specific day in your life, but to find what you are genuinely grateful and happy for, events that took place in other people's lives. It helps you to reprogram your mind so you can not only start noticing small things and being grateful for lots of things we take for granted on a daily basis. Listen, you may be dreaming about that Hermes bag, but if you have enough food on your table, in your fridge, you have beautiful clothes, you have a job, you have friends, you have family, you are loved, you are healthy. That's actually number one. You are healthy because the rest, no matter how many Hermes bags you have in your closet, if you are not healthy, you don't have anything, because health is your number one wealth. It's the cornerstone. It's the base, right? So if you have that all, but you feel miserable because your friend got a new bag, a new car, or whatever that may be, but you haven't yet, that's a signal for you to really recalibrate and evaluate your life and evaluate your values, because the universe doesn't like ungrateful people. So the more gratitude we express for the small things in our lives, the more the universe will be able to reciprocate. And by being grateful for things, the good things that happen in other people's lives, we also, it's like a remedy against jealousy and envy. Because listen, guys, we never know what's going on in other people's lives. There were so many cases when people would portray themselves as this beautiful, harmonious couple, a perfect, power couple, so in love, only to announce their divorce a couple of months later. You never know if someone is battling a disease, a health issue, if someone is depressed. You never know how many days or months of deprivation someone could have gone through to achieve whatever they have achieved and you are now envious of. You may be single and you may feel jealous of your friends with kids and spouses, but then you realize that they are incredibly envious of your lifestyle, of your freedom, of your ability to just enjoy whatever you want to do at any given moment without being overburdened with too many tasks and errands to run, or kids just shouting and screaming and demanding some attention. So I guess what I want to conclude with, I don't know. I feel as if this episode is a little bit weird because I've gone all over the place and I've tried to cover maybe too many topics, squeeze them all in one little episode. But I want you to be mindful and to maybe not overly share, and be mindful of the existence of evil eye Because, by the way, that's why it is never advised to give money, to lend money to anyone, unless you're ready to part ways with that amount and just to give that amount to people. Why? Because, believe it or not, those that owe you will feel more resentment towards you than the other way around, and you can see by based on their behavior, when they disappear, when they don't communicate, they don't tell you when they will be able to give back that money or whatever that may be. So subconsciously they are resentful because they have this guilt and shame, the two of the most low vibrational and heavy feelings we humans can have and process. So because of that guilt and shame, they want to stay away from you, and they feel resentful towards you for now feeling what they're feeling. There is a good metaphor that I love. If imagine you go to a bank and get a mortgage and buy a house, and now you have to pay your mortgage payments on a monthly basis, and then that bank goes bankrupt, and now there is literally no legal entity you have to keep paying those monthly installments to. Wouldn't you be happy and excited? Because now you got your mortgage basically for free, at least after a certain point, right? The same applies to people when we lend them money. Subconsciously, they do wish us unwell, because for them it would have been so much easier if we disappeared, if we didn't exist anymore, so they didn't have to feel shameful or guilty about not being able to pay us back. That's why it's never advisable to give any money to anyone unless you're ready to give it as a gift. So to sum up, guys, I want you to be mindful the evil eye does exist. So protect yourself, protect your energy, be mindful of who you spend your time with and who you give your energy to. And again, that energy could be in the form of your time, your skills, your knowledge, your emotional support, money, anything really. So unless there is reciprocation, be mindful whether these people just want to take and never give back. Be mindful of the evil eye that you are perfectly capable of putting on yourself when you are stuck in your negative mind and think that, say you will never be able to find the correct partner to create a family with. That's you jinxing yourself into oblivion, and, thoughts really do have a tendency to materialize. By the way, another thing, again, see, I'm so incoherent today, but I'm still going to pause this episode. I'm not going to record because guess what, guys? I'm battling with my inner critic and perfectionism. So it may be imperfect, but I'm gonna keep doing it until I get better along the way. Anyway, so one of the reasons why we shouldn't discuss our private life with our moms, why it is never advised for moms to be present at their daughter's delivery. Not because our moms wish us harm, of course not, but because motherly energy is so powerful, but so is their worry. So if my mom is really worried about me not being able to create a family, and that's, I may end up being completely alone in this life. If I go and share any details about my personal life with her, say I met a great guy and, maybe there could be some potential. If I go and tell that to my mom, because she's so worried, because she wants me to succeed so much, so desperately, she can actually end up jinxing the whole thing, and the date will get canceled, or the guy will, I don't know, move away, whatever that may be. So oversharing is never a good idea. Be mindful of that as well. But in the meantime, don't get paranoid. Don't If you feel you want to share something because there is a trust between you and another person, do it. Don't think that, oh, this happened because I maybe shared too much. Maybe that was the case, but also we live and learn, and what's truly yours is not going. It is going to be there in your life. So, circling back to that example, the date example, if someone is meant to be there for me in my life, irrespective of whether I'm going to share it with my friends, my girlfriends, or my mom, or whoever that may be, that person is not going to go away. They will be there. Well, at least sooner or later. Let me know your thoughts. How are you protecting yourself from the evil eye? Do you have any people that you feel are more malevolent towards you than benevolent? And how do you go about it? And have you ever had a situation when you jinxed yourself, when you put an evil eye on yourself because you felt that you are not enough, or you are incapable, or you are unlucky, or people are mean, or the world is unfair, or life is unfair, whatever that may be? Let me know in the comments, and thank you again for joining me and bearing with me and my maybe a little bit incoherent thought process today. And I am looking forward to reconnecting with you in the next episode. Take care for now.